Hey, there, paperback radio hosts. Can you tell us, where do you get all your ideas?
It's funny you ask that. We can sum it up in one word.
Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please,
Inspiration!
Welcome to the Inspiration Chop Shop, where we take apart our favorite films, books, and anything else we darn well like, and steal every useful bit for our creative malfeasance. Let's see what's on the chop today. And that's where I hit the body.
So welcome everybody
Hey!
to Plagiarize.
Plagiarize! Yep, the new criminal institution I'm a part of.
This is an Inspiration Chop Shop where we talk about some of our favorite things and then how we will steal from them. And today we were talking about my favorite obsession, the most French of the depressed demon nightmare boys, and the OG, which stands for Opera Ghost, Phantom of the Opera, the musical. I'm not obsessed with you, Lane. I just love you.
Oh,
I don't have your face on my shirt.
I know. Only Bob does. And we've had to write letters. So, tell me, Phantom, this is a minor and relatively new interest of yours, correct?
No, I have been obsessed with Phantom. This is my first obsession. I think I started listening to this when I was around 12 years old. I didn't actually get to see the play until I was in my early 20s. So everything I knew about it was based on all of the horror movies I saw, reading the book by Gaston Leroux, and trying to piece together what this musical looked like, which is one of the reasons why I still have a lifelong hard-on for blonde tenors, because I knew Michael Crawford sang Phantom, and I only knew Michael Crawford from the movie Hello, Dolly, where he is a strawberry blonde country bumpkin. I did not realize.
Not how he portrayed the Phantom in the movie.
No, he had the black brown hair slicked back. So, he dyed his hair for like 12 years while he was Phantom. I assume he was Phantom for 12 years. I didn't do research.
Why would we do research on this?
Yeah, this isn't that kind of show. The only research I did is in defense of Phantom of the Opera, because I know a lot of musical people like to pretend they don't like Phantom of the Opera because it is in fashion to hate things. But it is a very good musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. It is the longest running musical. It is the longest running Broadway musical. It is second on the West End only to Les Mis. And it is the third longest running show of all time. The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie, which is still going,
Still going!
Still beats it. And in terms of finances, only The Lion King has earned more than Phantom of the Opera.
It's pretty incredible. And you and I went to see it the few months before it closed down.
Yes.
I assume because I saw they were like, we can't let this happen again, and immediately shut down everything.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
So tell me about this Phantom of whom you speak.
All right. So to put it shortly, Christine Daae is a beautiful and musically gifted daughter of a recently deceased violinist, and she becomes the center of a love triangle between a rich fop and her childhood best friend, and a disfigured genius who easily commits blackmail, sabotage, and occasionally homicide in the name of love for her and for his art. So it's a simple choice for Christine, really. Go for the man in the mask.
Yeah, so this sounds like Picasso. Genius, terrible with women, and probably a murderer. I don't know if that last part's true. I made it up. So
and Picasso had a nose.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Phantom generally does not.
But he does in this though, because we're talking about the musical.
Yes, because they can't actually cut off actors' noses.
Shit.
And I imagine, if you point over your shoulder, Lane, to the Lon Chaney Phantom that is on top of the
Yeah, this thing we no way set up.
It's the other shoulder. Yeah. You'll have Lon Chaney Phantom right there. That is his makeup. I imagine that would have impacted his singing voice if they did that to the character's nose. So
of the night, the music of the night. Yeah, I deserve that. For those of you who are only listening, my wife removed her wedding ring and passed it to me because I mocked her first love, her first damaging, destructive love.
Yes, yes. I mean, the whole rest of my life has basically been based on trying to capture the romance that I felt for Phantom of the Opera. But
And
anyway,
you went for an equally hideous figure.
no, I went for an equally talented, beautiful man.
Aww. Well, now
And I
that
took the lessons of Christine Daae and I looked for red flags,
and charged right for him.
avoided them.
I see.
She's actually one of the smartest people who's ever been in a love triangle. As soon as one of them proved to be homicidal and a bit kidnappy, she like went whole hog into the correct choice. But anyways, let's go into
Which will differ, spoiler alert, from our next episode.
yes, but longer. Let's get into the story here. So it's 1881, and the Paris Opera House has brand new owners, a new patron, Raoul the Vicomte de Chagny. And when the lead soprano Carlotta throws a hissy fit and storms off because there's a little ghostly sabotage. A couple of set pieces fall on her and almost murder her, but that happens all the
He's
time.
such a whiner.
Yeah, something's trying to kill her, and the new owners aren't doing something immediately. What's wrong with her?
Such diva behavior.
Seriously. Anyway, so she storms off, and Madame Giry, the head director of the ballet, basically is like, hey, here's one of my ballet girls. She can sing. She's been well taught. And Christine Daae is thrust into the role as the lead soprano. She has this incredible magical quick change in the middle of the song where she's 1 minute in this, little dainty kind of whorish ballet dancing and then goes into the full diva thing. And I think it's just such a great way to show that like she's gone from nobody to a star overnight. Love that quick change. So she goes back to her dressing room and confesses to her fellow dancer Meg Giry that she's being visited by her dad's ghost.
Meg Giry, any relationship to Madame Giry?
The daughter of the yeah. Meg Giry is much
Nipple
more
baby. Nipple baby.
Yes. Much more important in Gaston Leroux's book and in most of the horror adaptations of Phantom. In this one, she's just kind of like Christine's bestie and gets the last moment of the thing, which is weird. But anyway, so Christine is being visited by Dad's ghost, the angel of music, who's been giving her voice lessons. And that's not weird at all. Like, Christine's not crazy.
Her dad was a violin player, right?
Yes. When he died, he promised he was going to send her the angel of music, and so he has. But Christine talks about this guy like, oh, it's my father's angel, like, but also it is a different angel. So it's she's a little nuts, is what I'm saying. The girl is a bit gothy, and we love that about her.
Well, frankly, it makes sense to me, right? Dad dies, says he'll send an angel. The guy's not going to send her a violin player. Wouldn't be useful.
Yeah. And I mean, how else do you explain I'm walking around the opera house and suddenly I hear this disembodied voice and he's going to teach me how to sing?
I mean, I will say, the truth ends up being equally strange.
Yeah, could not have anything to do with the Phantom of the Opera, this well-established urban legend in the Paris Opera House.
Oh, so she doesn't connect those?
She does not connect those two things, no. Like, she is as afraid of the Phantom of the Opera as all the other ballet singers when the stage comes crashing on Carlotta. So she does not connect that they are the same person, which just says to me that the Phantom hasn't been singing to everybody because she doesn't recognize his voice. Anyways, so she tells Madame Giry, or Meg Giry, Angel of Music is coming here. Around that same time, her childhood bestie Raoul shows up and is like, hey, I'm dashing really rich and I'm buying the opera house. And Christina's like, I can't spend time with you because my dead dad's ghost is jealous. Raoul just kind of rolls with this, laughs it off and says, I'm going to get my horses. He says that a lot. He orders his fine horses.
Hey, it's like, it's horses or it's cars, right? A certain type of guy.
You know him. You know this guy. But he is the kind of guy who would jump into the Seine in the middle of winter to fetch her red scarf, which she still owns. So you get right away that Raul is, I guess, a cinnamon bun. He's a really nice guy. He is the right choice. But of course, the correct choice shows up in her mirror. The angel of music shows up demanding Christine's obedience, her attention, apologies. I see no red flags in this relationship.
That may have to do with the fact that you're colorblind, but continue.
Only beautiful red roses. So he shows up in the mirror. Christine is very apologetic, begs him to reveal himself so she can see him, and he shows himself. Spoiler alert, the angel of music is in fact the Phantom of the Opera.
What? The title character?
Exactly, and the title song begins as soon as he reveals himself. He hypnotizes her, kind of kidnaps her, but, pulls her through this mirror so that Raul returns to a locked room, opens the lock, and it is completely empty. She has not left. She has not gone anywhere. It's very dramatic. It's beautiful.
That sounds right for the Phantom.
Yeah. He's very dramatic. It's all a girl can ask for. He's got the sweeping cape, gondola rides through the subterranean.
You didn't mention the cape.
Yes.
He's got a cape?
Got a cape, and he's got a cape.
Move over, Christine.
And one of those sexy hats. Like
the wide-brimmed hats.
Wide-brimmed hats, yeah. It goes very well over the half mask.
I mean, he's got a half mask. If he had a domino mask, I'd be all over that. I'd be knocking Christine out of the way.
I mean, the problem is if he has a domino mask, you can see that the side of his face is kind of not there.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so everything girl could ask for: capes, gondola rides, the successful ending cadenza with the effortless high E. I hate her so much for that when I was in high school. And then there's a mannequin that pops out of the mirror in a wedding dress, and that's a little bit much. But, he respectfully...
Wait, to make sure, he pulls a Ted Mosby. He's having a very good first date, and then he goes right for marriage. He says, "I love you" too quickly.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like, he's completely seduced her with the most wonderful song in the world, the music of the night. She is like butter in his arms. He could do anything he wants to her, but then he shows her this reflection of herself in the mirror, and it is herself wearing a wedding dress, and then it comes out of the mirror to basically grab her, and that's a little much. So she faints.
I thought this was like, you're cool, but I'm just starting my career.
No, this is a full-on, she sees this and she's so terrified that she faints. So he catches her and very respectfully puts her in a coffin to sleep.
Oh, respectfully.
Very respectfully. And then, finishes the song, because as you do. And what actually makes this all right for the 15-year-old me, actually the 12-year-old me, listening to the soundtrack, piecing together what's happening by reading the book, by hearing people talk about what the musical looks like, because my family wouldn't take me to New York to see this for some reason. What actually makes this moment all right is that it is the most seductive piece of music ever written. Music of the night.
That's a statement, but I mean, I will say, when I finally did see this, it's intense. It gets your heart palpitating.
Yeah, I refer to music of the night. It's sort of like musical guided meditation to that magical place right before you fall asleep where you're a little bit horny, you're a little bit dreaming, and you're going to come up with the best story ideas that you have to write down immediately. I mean, it's just got some great lines in there. No red flags at all in this. Music shall caress you, let it possess you. Open your mind in this darkness that you can't fight. Let music set you free so you can belong to me. No red flags. No red flags.
I'm going to start calling you the Mantador, that you only deal with red flags.
Yeah. I mean, who could resist this, though? You alone can make my song take flight. Could you say no to that?
Me? Absolutely not.
I mean, I guess Christine can, though, because she's unconscious from seeing herself with a wedding dress. So,
I mean, you should have waited 3 days to text, is all I'm saying.
So anyway, sometime later, the next morning, later that evening, it's not really sure, Christine commits the absolute worst sin for any artist's roommate. She disturbs the Phantom while he is composing. Unfortunately, by taking off his mask and then screaming in horror at his face. So that also puts a bit of a damper on the date.
So does the Phantom not want to be with her anymore because she's done these things?
He also ignores red flags.
Oh, good. Good. I like my destructive relationships to go both
Red
ways.
flags like, no, I want to be with somebody else. Please stop murdering people on my behalf. He does not hear those things, you know. But if you were not already in love with the Phantom because of the capes and the cool hat and the music of the night, this is the moment where you kind of fall in love with him. I mean, yeah, there's this incredibly violent outburst from him where he's like calling her names and he's accusing her of being a Jezebel and attacking her. But then he just kind of collapsed and he's so hurt and he's so vulnerable. And, you know, he's as haunted and afraid of his face as she is. And it's just this really, you know, emotional moment where, you know, he's really been hurt. And then she is able to provide him with this moment of comfort by giving him the mask back. But one of the things is just so much hope when he says, you know, fear can turn to love, can't it? And it's this really powerful moment. Christine gives him the mask back, and suddenly he is immediately back to himself. He's the Phantom again. He is mysterious. He is cool. He is a powerhouse, completely in control. We got to go back. Those fools are going to be missing you, and they are. The managers, the lead soprano, the director of the ballet, and Raoul are all in this uproar about these notes that someone named the Opera Ghost has sent them. Because the Phantom, he's got that hustle. Not only is he on this date with this woman, completely seducing her, he's also sending out these little notes throughout the evening. Like,
Now, are people aware that the Opera Ghost and the Phantom of the Opera are the same person?
Yes, yes.
Are they also clueless?
No, they are aware that the Opera Ghost and Phantom of the Opera are the same person. They do not know these notes are coming from the Phantom of the Opera. They all think it's from each other. So the Carlotta, the lead soprano, is mad at Raoul. Raoul is mad at the managers. Piangi is mad at everybody because he's just throwing up, you know, stirring the shit. But basically, he has all these notes are about Christine, and they're all to, you know, push her career forward. He wants to see his students succeed. Unfortunately, he's a little bit
his student who he's also interested in.
his student who he also wants to be.
Problematic. I was okay with everything else, but that's wrong.
That's wrong. And you know, the power dynamic between her and the rich guy is also wrong. Like, how
Oh yeah, no, these are equally problematic relationships.
oh my gosh. Anyway, so the Phantom gets a little bit threatening. He says, if you don't comply with all my wishes, a disaster beyond your imagination will occur. So they all agree to reject the Phantom's demands.
Let me go into that, because that I think is interesting, because normally that sounds quite threatening, but I think something that a subtle thematic thing that I'm not sure you brought up. These guys are morons. Like this is an entire opera filled with I believe there's a moment where they walk backwards into each other when I watched which I loved. Very Looney Tunes. But when you say a destruction beyond their imagining, I'm not sure these guys don't get lost on the way to work without help.
Yeah, I mean, the movie, Joel Schumacher's version, made it very clear that these guys they are not involved in theater at all. They were in the trash business before. They made a lot of money and they wanted to be more prestigious, so they purchased the opera. So these are new rich guys. They're a little bit bumbly, which is one of the reasons why Carlotta leaves. She's like, you guys don't know what you're getting into. You don't know how to handle this. But Carlotta cannot stay out of the limelight. Which is what the song Prima Donna is all about. But yeah,
I love all these red flags. No one is good at anything in this.
No, I mean, they're all very, in their defense, they're all very new at this. And also, it's unusual to be blackmailed by a ghost. He's never demanded how casting goes before. He's never said Carlotta gets the silent part and this person gets the lead. You know, so it's frustrating for everybody. And the Phantom is just also really good. Like, there's this really so Il Muto, the opera, goes up, and there's this great moment of either sorcery or science where the Phantom enchants Carlotta, the lead singer, so that she croaks like a toad. She just called Christine a toad. And there is absolute hysteria around her breakdown on stage in front of this audience. So Carlotta, humiliated, her worst fears have just come true. So the managers come on, and also incompetently say, we're going to bring you act 3 from tonight's opera. So the curtain goes up, the ballet dancers are getting into stage, the curtain is still moving around, the set pieces are going in. So their worst nightmares are happening. Like, you can see that we don't know how to run this. And at that moment, the lead stagehand, who has previously mocked the Phantom by describing his face, missing the nose, grotesquely horrible. This man drops from the rafters with a Punjab lasso, a noose around his neck, and depending on the version, dies, hanging in the air. Yeah, yeah. So that's the stage manager's most horrifying, terrible imagining. Like, everything is awful. So then Christine and Raoul, in a moment of unparalleled stupidity, go to the roof of the opera house to escape from the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, because he's like a vampire. He won't go outside.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's only one time in the whole show where he's outside of the opera. Christine does not think to, take Raoul across the street. She goes to the top of the opera house. Where she finally, in a great scene, she wakes up to the red flags of this man that we all love. And she confesses to Raoul all of the nightmares she's experienced, the horror of his face, that he's killed somebody, she's worried that he's going to kill her. And you have this, the turning of the love triangle. Up to this point, she might have been conflicted about both of them. After this point, you get that she feels pity for him, that she owes him something, she feels respect for him, but she cannot love him. She's too afraid. Like, she's in terror at this point. And Raoul calms her down, basically by saying, she also thinks that the Phantom is some kind of supernatural entity, literally a depressed nightmare demon boy. And Raoul insists the Phantom doesn't exist. He's only a man, a deranged, homicidal lunatic, but just a person. And then, to calm her down, Raoul confesses his love and promises to marry her and take her away and love her forever. And Christine...
Take her away from what? Take her away from what?
Oh, all this death.
Thank you.
Which is not a reference to Phantom of the Opera, but to another tragic love story.
Yeah.
Anyways, Christine, possibly correctly, chooses to marry the rich, handsome childhood best friend, Golden Retriever energy, and tells him, order your fine horses.
But definite Golden Retriever energy, but also an active person, because I was surprised by this.
Yes.
I saw Raoul does not just sit around and let people do things. He takes an active interest, and it's not... And unlike a good number, it's not incompetent. He's just not a genius. Like, he's a very capable person, but he's up against he's up against the Tsar, and he better not miss.
Yeah, no, that is exactly right. Like, as I've grown older, I've come to respect Christine and Raoul a lot more. And they're both very young. Is the thing to remember in this. Like, Phantom, if you go by Gaston Leroux's novel and by Susan Kay's novel, Over Your Other Shoulder, is old enough to be Christine's father at this point, and Raoul is her, they're of the same age. So this is the first time he's had to, like, defend the woman he loves, and he's a very active, very... and what I think is great is he's not stepping on Christine. He's generally pretty respectful of her. The only time he starts pushing her is a little bit later on. Like, in my opinion. Some people have different opinions of Raoul, but most of them are such Phantom stans. It's really hard to be objective sometimes when you love someone as much as we love the Phantom.
Now, so let me ask a question, right? Because this is the musical we're talking about. Casting-wise, is there often that age difference, or is everybody about the same?
Everybody's about the same.
Okay.
Everybody's about the same, yeah. I say that, but it's kind of hard to tell because he's under so much makeup, his face is covered. But I do know he has to be strong enough to pick her up and carry her, usually. That might have just been the couple of ones I saw. But Raoul is also very handsome, always very handsome, very young man. So she tells him, get your horses, have them at the opera house after the performance. I'm going to finish this show, and then we'll leave together. And in a move that should have surprised no one, least of all Christine, the Phantom is on the roof of his house, and he overhears the beautiful love song, All I Ask of You. He is devastated, and so is the audience. It's this really great reprise of it that is just heartbreaking. He's absolutely devastated, and he swears revenge, and we all agree. We think they should die, which is what
because
we
they betrayed him.
Yes,
by having
denied him and betrayed him. I mean, it's so great. He's like, of course Raoul was in love with you. He was bound to fall in love with you because I gave you your voice. Like, it's just a...
Oh, good. So he takes credit for her. Oh, yeah, this guy.
Yeah, no, it's he was bound to love you when he heard you sing. And I gave you my music, I gave you my voice, and now how you repay me, deny me, and betray me. Anyway, it's great. It's great. A lot of people complain that Andrew Lloyd Webber reuses the same melody and motifs. I actually think that's one of the strengths of this piece. So you hear strains of All I Ask of You, and it is always a twist of the knife. Because when he's not Eric in the musical, when the Phantom tells Christine and he uses that, she's like, oh, you were there, you heard this. That must have been hard for you, And when Raoul and her use it to each other, it's like, hey, we love each other, we're going to be okay, And it's just, anyway.
Because she still, even after all this, is grateful.
Yes.
Terrified, but she is. That's one of the cool things about this.
A little later on, she has this great sort of side song called Twisted Every Way, where she's just, it's some people read it as confliction for her love of the Phantom and Raoul, and maybe it is, but it's also like, he's my teacher. He gave me this voice. He gave me this opportunity. He's made me who I am. How can I let these people kill him? But also, he's murdered somebody, and he wants to take me, she's debating. Let me get there. So we are devastated. We are all there on Phantom's side, so that when he drops a chandelier on the audience right before the intermission of the real life musical, everyone in the audience stands up and cheers, gives a standing ovation, because we don't care if we die. We believe in the Phantom. In the story, the chandelier comes down at the curtain call of the opera, and this is Raoul's greatest fear. It separates him and Christine, killing many innocent people in between, but he can't get to her, so she can't leave the theater. I mean, temporarily. She does get out of the theater, she does get around it, but there's this moment of they are separated by all this glass and beautiful ornate stuff. He can't get to her. So we have our act break. 6 months later, these fucking morons in the opera house have a fucking masquerade ball. Because
so famously, right, the opera ghost, the Phantom, whatever you want to call him, right, famously, when he is seen as wearing a mask.
Yes.
These geniuses, either literally because they are publicity geniuses, or just the deepest morons who ever lived, are you know what I think would work well?
A masked ball.
A masked ball.
Yeah.
And let's
70
sing about
people in one stage in ornate costumes, all covering their face. And in this masquerade ball, we're going to celebrate the 6-month absence of the Phantom, the fact that we got a new chandelier, our successful plans for the next season that both involve Carlotta and Christine, who's coming back. And for Christine and Raoul, they're celebrating their secret engagement. She's got her engagement ring around her neck. She's like, look at our secret engagement at the opera house.
So they're all morons. Like one of the things we have to understand about this is whenever you judge people, you have to remember they were all hit in the head at some point.
Yeah. Once again, in a move that should surprise no one, least of all Christine, the Phantom reappears in a mask of red death. It's a great moment.
Yeah, and I love that reference. Yes. Right, and it's in all the versions, but it is about as profound a reference as you get, because it's Edgar Allan Poe's Mask of the Red Death, which is about all of the... Is it up there?
No, over there.
Perfect. It's all of these people in the original short story who ignore the suffering outside until the Red Death arrives and brings it to them. Right? It's such a lovely reference.
And it's another great moment of like, how does he do that? Is it because he's that much of a genius, or is he actually supernatural? Because he just poofs up in the middle of the staircase. And he's been dancing with Christine. Like, you have this horrifying moment that I think the movie really did well, where she is with all these people and they're getting more and more aggressive as they dance with her, and she thinks they're all the Phantom. So she's having this kind of PTSD reaction to her, ex-boyfriend had one bad date with, and then he just poofs appears in the middle of the thing, and it's amazing. So he's pissed. He has written an opera. His instructions are pretty damn clear. Basically he wants them to fire half the orchestra and get to rehearsing. And the final thing he does in this is he grabs the engagement ring around Christine's neck and he breaks the chain. So he knows. And he's not taking it well.
I mean, he's just a sad boy,
He is. He's just a nightmare depressed demon boy.
I think Warren Zevon said it best. He's just an excitable boy.
That's the one where he goes and like kills a woman and then goes to jail, comes back and like digs up her corpse and
built a cage with her bones. Excitable boy, they all say.
Excitable boy, yeah.
He's just an excitable boy.
Cool. So just so you know, we have 10 minutes left. Should we stop and start over?
No. See what you can do in the 10 minutes.
Cool. So we're all in an uncharacteristic act of aggression. Not all the green flags that we know from our Vicomte de Chagny corners Madame Giry, the director of the ballet, and basically forces her to reveal what she knows about the Phantom. And Madame Giry gives us these precious little pieces of his backstory. He's this traveling. He's from a traveling gypsy carnival. He's deformed at birth. He's a brilliant person, a scholar, an architect, a magician, an inventor, a composer. She helped the Phantom escape the traveling fair, during which time he killed his keeper. And she hid the Phantom in the basement of the opera house, which has since transformed into his personal palace and maze. This time, when they get these demands, no one resists the Phantom's demands, except for Christine. She basically comes in and says, I'm going to go crazy. She begs her friends and Raoul not to send her back to the homicidal demon, because she thinks he's a supernatural creature, who is certainly going to enslave her, might kidnap her forever, and is going to take over her mind, because that's the power of his song on her. Raoul knows this is the perfect chance to capture the Phantom, to kill him, because he's just a man. So this is the one sort of friction you get between them, where he's pressuring her into doing something because he wants her to do it. He wants to get the Phantom. He wants to kill him, to remove this rival, maybe. And so he's coaxing her to sing. And honestly, it's a missed opportunity for a reprise of Angel of Music, sing for me. But no one can be perfect. So this is where Twisted Every Way gets in here. Christine is conflicted. How can she betray the man who once inspired her voice? Does she become his prey? Does she have a choice? She does not. But like any proper Gothic princess, Christine goes to her father's grave to cry and ask what to do.
I loved this moment, by the way.
Yes. Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again is a fantastic song. It manages to both be this really powerful song about grief, and also a power ballad, because the end of it is Christine resolving to stop living in fear. She's going to stop asking guidance from others. She's going to grab her future and she's going to fucking live. And just as she finishes this, who should appear but the ghost of her father, offering her guidance, offering her a way back to his good graces. You don't have to be a wandering child. I'll take care of you. I'll make you a star. And this is the Phantom's one and only time out of the opera house during the daylight, completely surrounded by white snow. It's a very unusual look for him. We don't get this that often, so it's very much he has entered a world outside of his control. And Christine, even though she's just had this powerful moment, almost immediately succumbs to his influence. Even though you hear her resisting it, she's savvy to his tricks. And it's this great moment in the score where they're singing the same notes but on different words. So it's creating this kind of dissonance. And she's saying things like, my mind is resisting you, my heart is beating against you, but I can't, my soul obeys you. And it's this great moment. and she's totally under his control. Raoul shows up singing a counter melody, and he is just in time to rescue her. But he can't break her out of the spell. And so the Phantom begins to chant, he begins to sing, and then Raoul begins to speak to her. Not in music, speaking to her. And that's what wakes Christine up. And I love that moment. They do such cool things with trios and duets in this, and that's one of the really cool moments that he's like, I can't get to you in music. I'm just the Vicomte de Chagny, but I can talk to you. And it melts your heart. So Phantom is pissed about this and immediately turns his musical magic on Raoul, who immediately sort of flips the switch of, I'm going to fucking murder you. I will completely go into this and I'm going to, grab my sword and kill you. Which, of course, is exactly what the Phantom wants. He's trying to lure him into this area of control inside of this crypt where he can shoot him with fireballs and get this lasso, this Punjab lasso, around his neck. Except Christine, having woken up, saves Raoul. She grabs him, drags him away, and they both run away while the Phantom declares, war upon them both.
I love a partnership.
Yeah.
Let's call it here, because you're definitely not going to finish in 4 minutes.
Not at all. No.
We'll be back. All right, listen, I know things aren't looking good right now, but you can be a star just like the heroes. Stick with me, Rooster, and I will take you places. You can find out how to turn into paperback radio. Rose Lemongrass, Silver Age.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research.
So, last time on, we had just escaped a graveyard with fireballs.
Yes.
And a lasso.
Yes. Safe to say Christine is now fully on board with the plan to defeat/kill the Phantom of the Opera. Even now, even at this point, what'd you say?
Ungrateful.
Yeah, she's a bitch. But she's a smart bitch. And I think even now she knows this is not going to happen the way these men think it's going to happen. This fact is really brought home when Raoul stations a bunch of police officers and fails to capture the Phantom at a rehearsal. And Phantom is doing all kinds of creepy shit. Like he's
possessing people.
Yeah.
Like this theory, this idea that he's not magical, a lot of this can be explained, but he just straight up possesses some people in this song.
Yeah, and part of the idea is if you have this hypnotism through music, that he begins to play it on the player piano. So he begins to play the piano somehow magically, and then it's that he's playing it correctly, so it just snaps in everybody's mind, is the non-magical entity, like the idea that the hypnosis can somehow do it. I don't know. It's some crazy shit that's going on right here. But Raoul fails to capture the Phantom at a rehearsal. And while we're talking about the rehearsals, I do want to take a moment to talk about Don Juan Triumphant, the Phantom's opera. All throughout this musical, there's been these pieces of fictional operas. Andrew Lloyd Webber is referencing these other grand operas, Mozart, Puccini, a little bit of Gilbert and Sullivan, and it's usually just fragments, but it's these big Baroque pieces, and it's enough to suggest what opera sounds like. So when we get extracts from the Phantom's opera, they're very different than Hannibal, Il Muto, the other ones that we've heard. And I think it really just shows like that they're hugely dissonant. They're very modern. And I think it just sort of lets the listener know that the Phantom is a genius who's ahead of his time.
Man, you don't get it. I'm 4 steps ahead while you're 3 steps back, man. I'm playing 7D chess.
He's fitting, his music fits perfectly to the score of the musical that we are watching, in fact. Yeah, and themes from Don Juan Triumphant are motifs we've been listening to. Most famously, the opening chords of the overture. Yes, yeah, that's one of the. It's part of his opera. oh my god. Anyway, so all that stuff. The night of the Phantom's opera, the Phantom takes the place of the lead tenor, and Carlotta's boy toy
I
piano.
know, and one of the sweeter characters in this play.
He's he's so funny. He's so sassy because I can't tell if they're like supposed to be together or if she's just like his best friend and he's gay or whatever. But like they have such great chemistry. They are each other's soulmates, and he's so supportive of her. Like when she storms off, he goes with her and he says to the managers, "Amateurs," and like she'll come back. Don't worry, but you guys get your shit together. Like it's such a he's the guy they have playing him is usually really good at just conveying so much in such a little time. So when he is replaced, and Phantom and Christine sing the sexiest song ever written, "Past the Point of No Return,"
It is like this isn't just 15-year-old you talk, and like
it's a
it's
horny
a
song.
scene. Like you can feel the energy
Yeah.
around everybody sort of sits forward.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's such a great song. And what makes that moment really, really delicious, if you believe in the musical magic thing, Christine has learned enough from the Phantom that she's hypnotizing him. And maybe it's just her feminine wiles, maybe it's just the choreography, but either way, Phantom has lost his guard completely, and she's able to unmask him in front of the whole audience, the real audience included. So, yeah, we see his face.
I know, and because this is one of the things which is I'd seen the movie first, and then I saw the play. And the movie, he fell asleep with the sun. There's like a light tanning. Those makeup artists for that, it is horrifying.
It's pretty like they can't remove his nose, but it's pretty close. Like it's scary. And so after suitable horror from the audience, the Phantom drags Christine back to his lair and reveals Piangi's body. He has killed Piangi. Rather than like knocking him unconscious or tying him up to take his place, he straight up murders this guy. And that's sort of the final straw for everybody. I guess stagehands don't matter.
Well, they never do.
Yeah. But so this is when Madame Sherry, the director of the ballet, finally reveals that she knows where to find the Phantom and how to avoid being killed by him, which is holding your hand at the level of your eyes. So the lasso catches your hand and not your fucking neck. And of course, Raoul doesn't fucking listen. More on that later. Meanwhile, Christine has been. Yeah, that would probably also work. The
Voguing. Voguing.
Yeah.
See, Madonna wouldn't have put up with this.
Madonna would not have. Like Madonna would not have fallen under his spell.
Yeah, that's why she's in Evita and not Phantom.
Exactly, exactly. Honestly, though, Madonna, I feel like she would have just fucked him after Music of the Night. I don't think she would
That's
have been
true.
freaked out
I
by the
don't. I think
mannequin.
what would have happened is they would have gotten together, and Michael Crawford would be like, "So, what does this mean?" And it means, and she'd be like, "It means I expect breakfast, and I'll see you in a couple weeks when I'm bored. Bye."
Yeah. By the way, keep on making me a star, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Christine and Phantom are having such a great sassy fight. He's forced her into the wedding dress. She is not playing along. They are exchanging some very hurtful words, which include him being vulnerable and trying to confess his love, and saying things like, my own mother didn't love me because I was born with this hideous face," and she's just like rejecting it.
Good.
Like I said, there's no waffling back, and when she has made her decision in this love triangle, which is to avoid the murderer, she holds to it. She's right. But this moment is really crushing because there's one motif that she sings whenever she's feeling intrigued or sad about the Phantom. She sings it in "All I Ask of You" when she's talking about how horrible his face is, but he also, his eyes are so sad. She has this motif there, and she starts singing that now. And the line she says is, "This haunted face holds no horror for me now." And at first you're like, "Holy shit! Is she saying she can love him?" And then she twists it, and it's, "In your soul is where the true distortion lies." And you're crushed because this has been the motif of, I'm with the Phantom, I'm sympathetic for the Phantom, and she's just used it to say fuck you, and you're crushed, the Phantom's crushed. Pity really has turned to hate. Probably because of all the murder.
Frankly, I think these are equally hurtful things.
Yeah, she's very
Right.
small-minded. You know,
Yeah, he murders two people, sure, but really, his feelings had been hurt, so that makes murder okay.
Yeah.
What she did was unforgivable.
Choose the wrong guy.
Yep.
And speaking of the wrong guy, it's around this time that Loverboy walks past all the warning signs and face first into a trap. We get some more great zingers between Phantom and Christine while Raoul is begging for her life, begging for him to be released. And then Raoul just steps in range and Phantom gets him with the lasso. Like, it's so... You see it coming from so far away, and Christine sees it, and I'm like, Raoul, you just had to do this. Like, just stop. Just talk to the hand. Like... and that's when you get the ultimatum from the Phantom. If Christine stays with him, he will release Raoul. If she leaves, he will kill Raoul. But if she leaves, she will leave forever, and he will not, but she doesn't get Raoul. So that's the choice. The point of no return. And I have to stop a minute here and just talk about how brilliant the music is at this point. It's just incredible. Christine is attacking the Phantom by reprising the melody he wrote for her in the opera. So she's literally using his words, his melody against him. Raoul and Phantom are dipping in and out of the same melody line, which is echoing All I Ask of You and Point of No Return. So lyrics from one, the music from the other, and back and forth. Then Christine goes off and sings her own thing, which is a play on Angel of Music, but now in a different depressing key, like agonizing key. And the men, when they are singing on the same line, are always singing. Sometimes they're never on the same words, and she's above them. It's just this magnificent confusion. And she ends it all with this callback to her first moment of character. Because when you see her, she's a dancer, she's dragged down, she's uncertain, she doesn't get to say anything. Then she sings this beautiful song, becomes a star. So the first time the audience gets to meet her is when she's singing to Meg Giry. And the phrase is...
Nepo baby.
The Nepo baby. Yeah, Nepo baby. And it's, Father once spoke of an angel, I used to dream he'd appear. Phantom uses this against her in the graveyard, imitating her father by using that same musical phrase, too long you've wanted a winter, far from my far-reaching gaze. And now she takes that motif back, and she's saying to the Phantom, sympathetic, pitiful creature of darkness, what kind of life have you known? God, give me courage to show you're not alone. And she kisses him. So she's choosing to stay with him so that Raoul can go and live. And this completely breaks the Phantom. I don't know if he just did not expect Christine to choose him, to choose to save this guy's life, or if it is that the kiss is so great and so pure that he can't, fight it. Whatever reason, he's just broken.
Well, and what's great is it actually works on multiple levels, which is one of the reasons I think this has survived as long as it did, which is an earlier fairy tale ending could be a kiss so pure it breaks the evil, and a modern psychological one of, I did not expect you to do this. It doesn't work for me this way. Oh my God, what have I become? Yeah. So it reflects two different traditions.
Yeah. And it could also be that he hears the mob coming. I don't think it's that. I think he chooses to let them leave. So he sends them.
The mob had one competent person, and he's the guy who got himself strangled.
Yes.
But
Madame Giry is leading them down now. So Madame Giry, how these notes get delivered, we think. So she's leading them down there. She has also been like, no, we need to get rid of this guy. But either way, Phantom is broken. He sends them both away. And as Raoul is guiding her off in the gondola this time, he doesn't have a cape or a hat, just saying. The two of them stab him in the back by singing All I Ask of You again. And he does this one last agonizing song, another reprise of Music of the Night, just before the mob reaches him. Absolutely devastating. And then the Phantom disappears. Meg Giry comes up to the chair, which is completely empty, lifts up the mask and leaves you with that great final image of this beautiful ballerina holding it, being confused. And he is left completely, and it leaves the audience wondering, was he actually supernatural? Was he real? And I love that musical so much.
All right, let's call it there, and then we will start taking a look at a thing you love and ripping it apart and stealing what we can.
Okay.
Meet the Crackstar. On an initial viewing, you might think these lovable robots to simply be, well, just like all the other automatons through the world. But actually, if you look inside, you will find epic battles between insectoids trying to take over the giant robot. Oh, the queen may rule now, but will not forever. The Crackstar. More than meets the eye. Hello!
Hello. All right, my darling angel of podcasts, sing for me. No. Tell me, how would you fence this Phantom of the Opera whole cloth or chop it up? Which would you do?
So this is an interesting one, right? Because on one level, all of this is in the public domain. Phantom, the opera, is in the public domain, right?
Your Gaston Leroux book is above your left shoulder.
Yep, it's right. Wait, no, that's
Susan Kay. Who could write that because it's in the public domain?
Who could write it because it's in the public domain? And there are minor ways Lloyd Webber, minor plot-wise, not minor thematically, and I want to talk about that in a second, minor plot-wise that deviate from the original book. But there is no older brother.
Yeah.
Right.
The Persian doesn't exist in the opera.
The Persian doesn't exist.
There's less traps for Raoul because he's just going to wander blindly into it.
and I think the possession, in the rehearsal. Oh, and the big one, right? In the book, Eric, as he's known in the book, Eric doesn't have them perform his music, right? He keeps that to himself.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right? So, there are things that are Andrew Lloyd Webber's, from a plot perspective, invention. But many of the characters are their whole cloth. And what you're not allowed to copyright is theme, right? So the idea of this being a genuine love triangle between the monster and the man, or as I thought, it wasn't quite a redo, but the moment in the new Muppet movie where one guy was singing, he was a very Muppet man, and the other one who was singing about very manly Muppet, which I think gets to the core of the
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. Is he Muppet or is he a man? Who knows?
You were making a point, I'm sure.
No, so my point is, though, right, is even if you were, say you wanted to adapt, right, you could keep many of the themes Webber sort of highlights and makes big. And he doesn't invent, the idea of a closer love between the female lead, whose name escapes me, Christine, and the Phantom gets done in some of the other movies. But there's nothing after Phantom of the Opera. You used to get a new kind of Phantom.
Mark, can you start that again? Something fell.
No worries. Oh, wait.
All right. Go ahead.
You used to get a new Phantom every 10 to 15 years, right? He's a black and white movie. Then it's the Lon Chaney Sr. version.
Yeah.
And then there's one in the 40s and the 60s. And then after Andrew Lloyd Webber puts a stamp on it, everybody's like, yeah, that's it.
He's a now romantic tragic hero forever. There's one exception I can think of, and it was not a very successful horror movie where they really lean into the monstrousness of the Phantom. So I think it's a Swedish film, and he actually is not disfigured. He's this beautiful wild man who was raised by rats and eats people's faces off. And Christine is in love with him, and he does music, and it's really wild. But it's you can't get away from the Phantom as a love interest after Andrew Lloyd Webber.
And so if I were to fence it, it's because I was tapped to direct it. Excuse me.
That'd be awesome.
because I was tapped to direct it, right? And now the question is, okay, so what would I do? And one of the things I would do is I would highlight what you said earlier about Christine being a goth chick. Like one of the things that happens is it is so built in the aesthetics of the 80s. And there's so many things that I think could do with a revival look at, right? Raoul is very competent. And I think you could play that up even more.
Yeah.
The two,
I'd love to see a staging of it where Raoul is listening and he does have his hand up and the Phantom turns that against him.
yeah, like you can do those kinds of things through stages where you have Christine start out kind of forlorn and technically beautiful and physically sort of change throughout as she finds herself as well as Raoul.
She's been gone for 6 months. She could get a tan and a haircut. She could start out really gothic, all in black, really depressed, and literally like, no, I'm coming back to life. I'm going to wear green now. Like you could do something like that, you know?
And have the two morons even funnier. Like I love those guys.
I love those guys.
So it's one of those cases where it's like a dream situation of, oh, you get to direct one of the all-time greats. How would you change it? And it's the advantage of theater over film is you can bring slight, and the directors did, like over the course, things did have differences. The
final Phantom, I think, or at least the final one that I saw, was basically a linebacker. So
he was a big guy.
Yeah, he was a big guy, and he literally, like on his football team, he was a linebacker, and he just loomed over everybody, and it was such a difference in staging. And it was so clear that he was the one who was pulling Christine around during the Masquerade song. It was so obviously that it was him, because no one else was as big.
Yeah,
and
you could theoretically do it with a very small man.
Yes.
Like you could literally, I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't, especially considering his mechanical brilliance. You could have a little person, or you could have someone who is very slight, right? You could do. I mean, and they did all through this time. They've
always had different kinds of Phantoms, different kind of Christines. Yeah.
So, but because it is. The play itself is not in the public domain, and adapting it whole cloth would be pretty darn obvious. Like it is such an influence on so many things, and everybody knows it. So now the question is,
I can think of a couple of like. I was so excited once, and this was when I was like 15 years old. There was at Scranton Cultural Center, they were showing Phantom of the Opera, and I was so fucking excited. There was going to be a school trip there. I wore my goth makeup. I had my Phantom mask at the ready, and I was so disappointed when it wasn't Phantom of the Opera the musical. And they did this stupid thing where he'd been disfigured in a fire, and Christine was able to convince him to come back into society, and everybody was going to love him, and it was okay. And I'm like, you fucking assholes. How could you betray me like this?
Which is sort of the Lon Chaney one, because one of them's disfigured by acid.
Yeah.
And
Two-Face?
Yeah, kind of. I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Kane took influence on that.
Not at all.
But so I'm going to take this apart. We're going to
chop it. Yeah.
Three things sort of jump to mind. One is how meta this thing is, right? Which is something I love to play with in my own work, right? So my most recent thing, which actually has to do with a sort of not conventionally attractive person with a beautiful singing voice who warps the minds of those around her. And I hadn't put that together. And what I also didn't put together...
What is the most recent thing?
Siren of Beaker Street.
Oh, right. Siren of Beaker Street.
Right? And one of the things I do is I play with theatricality boundaries. So
all the time.
The same way the musical, sometimes the audience is literally the audience, like the audience of the opera house. The thing falls upon it. And I love meta theater when it's within a more traditional structure. Like, if you get too meta, I tend to get bored. I think you're just sort of getting navel-gazy.
It gets not glitchy.
I'm not sure.
Gimmicky. It gets
Yes,
gimmicky.
it can be very gimmicky, and if depending on where you are in the Matrix, also kind of glitchy. But when it's done really well, it can create either an off-putting effect or it can really bring people in.
Really immersive. Like the new version of Phantom of the Opera is a immersive theater production called Masquerade, where you are not allowed in the theater unless you're wearing a mask. You have to be wearing black or white or some approved color. I don't remember. And I think the show happens all around you.
I mean, it already lends itself to this.
Yeah.
So I think stealing a lot of those meta elements, especially if you're interested in theater, is great.
Yeah.
I really like a hypnotist. I like those as villainous stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because you see the villainous side of it, but you also get a thing that you don't often see with hypnotist stories, which is what it was originally thought to do as a psychiatric thing when they thought it was real, is unleash stuff. Like
Yes.
voice is found and
Let your fantasies unwind, open
let
your
your
mind.
stuff unwind. And the power that could exist with either a hero or a villain who goes into people and like, no, I'm going to let you be everything you want to be. So I think that's a fun thing. And then the third thing is I think more people should have masks. That's just in general. We tried, Lisa's bringing it out. When we first tried filming these things, we thought we might wear masks. Didn't work out. But Lisa's lovely in everything, so she can pull it off. But I also like the idea of these two figures facing each other. One who's kind of traditional, one who is not, one who's all these weird gimmicks. Because the fun thing is, I know in the movie, the Phantom knows how to use a sword.
Yes.
But one of the things in the musical I like is that that's not really what he does.
No, he does not have a sword. When Raoul is charging at him with a sword, he's got a fireball staff.
Yeah.
He's got nothing but a little lasso that you don't really see.
And if his plans don't go accordingly, he can get stabbed through. And Raoul is competent, and he's got these kind of things. And if it can be done right, a sort of tough guy. I mean, it's superhero fiction, right? I'm the tough guy against I'm the clever genius.
Manipulating in the background in the shadows, and
I like that
step into your world where I am more vulnerable. Yeah,
I would switch it though. I've always wanted to do that. I would
have the depressed demon nightmare boy as the good guy.
The good guy. And then
that would track with a more gothic Christine, and like everyone is kind of like Tim Burton-esque, but then Raoul comes on like golden hair, all smiles. I'm the new patron.
So you're jumping genres, I have to say, right? I wouldn't necessarily have him be the aesthetic of the Goblin Boy. What I'm talking about literally is that sort of tactical kind of scheme, right? You have the swordsman, the fighter, the person versus someone who lives and exists in the shadows. Where they live aesthetically, right? You could have him be a demon boy. You could also have him be a sweet mole man, right? And then the person with the sword is the person who's been sent to stamp out the mole men, right? You could have one be an immortal vampire and the other one be a person who lives behind his windows and is basically trying to trap it, right? One way, actually, never thought about it this way, but it's kind of Home Alone, right? You have a person who is physically incapable of physically dealing with the intruders. So he comes up with gadgets.
So he comes up with gadgets and mazes and stuff. Nice.
So those are the parts I would take off just off the top of my head.
Yeah. I have adapted this story many, many times, accidentally or on purpose. The most purposeful one is a novella of mine I have called Beautiful Chains, which is in one of my Evernight anthologies, which I just made it gay.
Now, is Christine a male figure, or is it between Raoul and the Phantom?
No, Christine is a male figure. Christine is a dancer in the thing, and actually Raoul and the Phantom are the same person. It's a guy he's a stagehand who is generally ignored by the dancer. So he sort of adopts this persona of a different, person to kidnap and seduce the guy. And so you have Anthony is his name, kind of in this position of like, oh shit, which one do I like better? I have feelings for both of these guys, and it's the same, depressed demon nightmare boy, which is also another.
Good.
Yeah.
Because as Andrew Lloyd Webber teaches us, stagehands deserve to be killed, and no one will really think about it after that.
Yeah. I love that whenever anyone is talking about, at Masquerade in the song, they talk about, it was this horrible thing, all these awful things happened. Yes, the chandelier fell. What about the chief stagehand dangling from the... You remember when he died? Oh, right, yeah. Anyway, the chandelier, man.
Chandelier!
I love depressed demon nightmare boys. They are such my trope. There are hundreds of them in media now, and they're probably not all based on the Phantom, but I love them anyway. You feel it, someone
he's a major influence on you in particular, but just in general.
Yeah. It's one of those like, oh, I understand you. I don't think you're ugly. I know that you kill because you're lonely and you need me to touch you. Come and kidnap me. I can fix you.
Though our next episode, we're going to be talking about an even older nightmare demon boy, who I would argue has even more red flags. He doesn't actively kill people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Venom kills people, and he doesn't actually kidnap. Heathcliff doesn't kidnap Kathy, does he?
Well, I don't want to. Well, actually, the second one he absolutely does. But locks her in a room. Heathcliff is bad news. This is my thing right now. Next time, wait to see. Heathcliff is bad news. People, get help. But we're talking about Eric.
Yeah. Who doesn't get his name, I think, until the Susan K. revision of it. I
was looking it up. I thought it also appeared in Gaston Leroux.
Oh, it might. I know it's not in the musical. He's just called the Phantom.
Smart move. Can we talk about how brilliant that is as an adaptation real quick? And then we'll go back to your breaking it apart. Because Webber had a vision. He knew what to cut. He knew what he wanted. Little things like you could have gotten Eric's name.
Yeah.
If it's in there, you could have gotten a name if it's not. Like, nope, he's Phantom. Nope, he ain't dying. He's disappearing.
Yeah. The ambiguity over whether he is supernatural or just a genius is fantastic in the musical, and it's something that both the original novel. Where it's the mystery uncovering who he is and that he isn't the supernatural entity, kind of Scooby-Doo-esque, and Susan K's, which is absolutely he's a human being from start to finish, so the musical really plays that line incredibly well, and it's actually one of my prompts is play with that. But the thing I would want to steal from this is how active Christine and Raoul are in this love triangle. And I would love to lean into Christine as the little goth girl that she is. Because there's just so many interesting things about that. And the fact that she's so drawn to the Phantom because he is dark, because he's mysterious, because he's powerful. But as soon as she sees how that impacts people, she's out. And I love that element of Christine. And I didn't realize I loved that until I was an adult, because I used to really hate her and Raoul because they hurt.
Well, she didn't understand.
They didn't understand the Phantom like I did. Yeah. So that's something.
By the way, I believe is the entire thesis points to that book.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Best piece of fan fiction I've ever read.
Oh, it's such a good book. It
is a good book. Like, that is not.
Yeah. I love Susan.
My God, she thought people needed to understand.
Yeah, but she's also like really good. Like, speaking of like unlikable characters, what she does to we should probably talk about this in a separate podcast for our paid listeners.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You want to hear more about the other material? You pay us the, hold on.
$5.
All right. 20 quarters, we ask. 20 quarters a month.
But I will say she does this amazing thing there's one line in the musical where this mask my first unfeeling scrap of clothing. The mom literally could not take care of this baby until she covered his face. And she takes that and she fucking runs with it. So you get the mom's point of view for the early part of that book with Eric's childhood, where he basically learns these magic tricks to talk to his mother and get her to love him and take care of him. And there's this
almost works.
There's this heartbreaking moment where, it does work. And the mom decides, okay, I'm going to treat him better. I'm going to get his apologies. I'm going to get forgiveness. But that's the same night that Eric runs away.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking. She's such a good, Susan Kay is amazing. But we'll talk about that
there because I want my 20 quarters.
Yeah, no. And I'm gonna stop it there and maybe in editing move it ahead of time. So
no, we keep things here. They have to suffer.
Anyway, so I would love to explore that love triangle from other things. One thing I love about that love triangle, Raoul gets darker as it goes. And some of the horror movies after the musical take advantage of that. And I would love to see that come full force in a novel where somebody starts out, I would never hurt anybody. I am a responsible rich man. I'm here to help people and all this stuff. But as he's losing his control of this woman, as he's losing control of his own life, this darkness is being opened up in him as well. So I'd love that. I also love to see it as a polycule, just saying.
Yeah, I think lots of people would.
Actually, it's very pretty.
It reminds me of, I forget, the Anita Blake series, and she ends up with two rival vampires. I do think that's more Spike Angel, but it's similar dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a fun dynamic. It's one I've been seeing running around on the internet where it's like a lamb, a wolf, and a sheepdog. One of them wants to protect you and care for you. Another one wants to devour you, but they're both obsessed with you. And that's all over Phantom of the Opera.
So shall we talk about our prompts?
Yes. Do I start or do you start?
I think I start this time. Who started last time?
I don't remember.
Well, let's
just go.
All right, so first one for me. I thought this one was kind of a cheat, but I was attacked by the Phantom. Kind of a cheat, but still works. Christina's the Phantom. This entire thing is a scheme. She was taught by her father. This person is brilliant enough to create a false figure. She gets herself promoted. She finds her ex-boy toy. She goes involves in a rescue. It's her way of getting out of this destructive life. She is the genius behind it.
Wow. So the Phantom really never existed.
Never existed. It was all a ploy by Christine. But she genuinely falls in love. And that's why her plan to murder her husband and take the fortune doesn't go through. I guess. It's a prompt. I don't know.
Yeah. But does she still kill Joseph Bouquet and Piangi in this?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a prompt. I forgot it's a prompt.
Ruthless person. At the very least, she drops a chandelier and a bunch of innocent people.
I mean, debatable if people die in that, because they never mention any casualties in the musical.
Well, so if it's those figures, if it's Christine, remember, it can't be Webber's Christine.
You're right.
So in the book, there's definitely murders, and she's behind it all.
Yeah, I like that. My first prompt is to write your own depressed demon nightmare boy and pair him with an unexpected partner. Christine is a rather innocent, naive naif, and interesting because she's goth, but that's not how she's coded. I think depressed demon nightmare boys are usually with innocent young women or manic pixie dream girls. But what happens if he ends up obsessed with like a, female general, a strong, independent person? Like, what happens if he's obsessed with Carlotta, who knows who she is and knows what she wants and would not deal with any of this well? Like, that woman would not have gone through the mirror. Like, you're freaking me out. Go away. Like, I don't care if you're handsome and beautiful and want to help my career. Just help my career. Get out of my dressing room. Like, how does he deal with someone like that?
I mean, so there's tragedy elements, but that would be really funny. Like, I could see almost a Marx Brothers scene, which is like It's like, hey, how you doing? I got a new piece for you. Oh, don't worry, that's my ghost. I'd exorcise him, but he helps my cankles. Something like that.
That would be funny. No, but I was more. I think it would be a really interesting love story. Like if he's actually serious and isolated, but she is this out there person who has ambitions, who wants to live in the world. What does it take for her to fall in love with him, and what does it take for him to trust her and allow her to go out and be in the world? Like Raoul is not in this story
Yep.
in my brain. But anyways, so that's that prompt.
So my next one is a creature. So similar to an Eric, right? Except I viewed it almost non-human, right? And through magic, he's able to create a beautiful Adonis-like figure, and he can live in both bodies for a week at a time. So 1 week he's this gorgeous, almost godlike physical entity. Another week he's this monster that lives under the earth. He loses his brilliance when he switches over.
Of course.
And he begins to disassociate. And he begins to develop contrary personalities, and they hate each other.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So that's that prompt. It's this. He basically creates his own enemy, and the things he envies is the qualities he has in this other form.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. My prompt two is modernize the story. How does Phantom interact with the world of 2026 with social media and the internet? How does he make Christina a star?
Mm-hmm.
And why doesn't she love him?
It's a small line, but there's a line in an Angel episode. It's a one-off where like this actress is being stalked and Angel's there. And you find out that the entire thing was arranged by her agent in order to get attention. And throughout the episode, he always says, I love you. And she goes, I don't pay you to love me. And he says, no, that you get for free. And it's a weird line. And I could see that in the thing you just said.
Yeah. I don't pay you to love me. Oh my gosh.
I don't pay you to love me. No, that you get for free. So the third one here, I kind of cheated, but I'm sure someone's done it, but everybody could do this in its own way. Sherlock Holmes has been hired because they are contemporaries. They're both in the 1880s, 1890s. Sherlock Holmes has been hired to investigate a murder at the Paris Opera. I would set it before everything goes down. But the Phantom is not behind it, and the two of them must work together in order to solve the crime.
And then they kiss.
No, they don't kiss. Remember, because Eric is very much in love, and
That's right.
and he's monogamous because he'd murder people, but he would never ever cheat.
Yeah, of course. What was I thinking?
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I want to, here's a prompt from Raoul's side. Tell his stories. He tries to rescue his crazy gothic girlfriend from her obsession with a madman that she thinks is a supernatural creature that he is convinced is just a regular person. Make sure that Raoul stays the lead, and that he has green flags and all that, so that it ends happily.
Yeah.
Don't. It's a prompt. You do whatever you're going to do. But
no, and it really is. It's fun. And actually what's interesting is there are not Phantom itself, but there are other stories of that era which kind of has that dynamic. I'm thinking Woman in White.
yeah. Well, I mean, the Mad Genius is such a fun thing.
I love Mad Geniuses.
But you mean the crazy goth who's like, I'm in love with the demon, and actually that's just your next door neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Number 3 for you.
I think four. All right, so this is. I like that. So I was in a very pulpy mood when I came up with this one. So basically, it's 100 years later, maybe 100, whatever, but they've found the entrance to the Phantom's layers. And as people go to explore it, they're falling into traps and they're dying. And this question arises, did the Phantom actually die? Is he somehow still alive? Or is he so brilliant that the messages and all that stuff had all been planned ahead of time? So it's kind of a dungeon crawler with these archaeologists and stuff who've been trapped and they're caught in his world of mirrors and such. And will they make it out in time?
I love that. I love that. We're going to end in 10 minutes, so we're going to do this on speed dial again.
No. We each have one more left.
I have two. Choose the Phantom as an actual angel or as an actual devil. Write the story with the love triangle between a normal human, a supernatural entity, and the woman caught between them who is becoming something divine or has to choose to not.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. You only love me for my celestial power. You don't even get me.
I don't know if I want to become an angel. I lose my eyeliner. Sorry, your final one?
Okay. So it's set in Coney Island. And it's kind of a sequel to The Phantom, right?
It doesn't exist. I hate you. Hold on.
No. So for those of you who are listening, my wife just handed back my wedding ring. No. So the last one though is, I kind of like this. The legendary Don Juan has escaped hell by seducing Lucifer's daughter, and he's on Earth again.
Don Juan triumphant.
Don Juan triumphant. What is that story?
Yeah, what does the Phantoms play? Yeah.
But then I thought it's like, would Don Juan triumphant be, because for those of you who don't know the Don Juan story, he is this rake, he seduces people, and he destroys these women. He is not viewed in a Casanova kind of thing, except for the romantics, but they don't count. And he's finally dragged to hell. Yeah. So my idea is he escapes from hell by seducing Lucifer's daughter, but then I think as he's going through and he returns to his ways, he realizes how hollow it was, what all this led to. And does he find salvation? Mm-hmm. Is Don Juan triumphant, him finally understanding where he went wrong? Or is it the escape from hell? Who knows?
You have to write it. This is a technical one. Write a scene or a story where the point of view characters are not on the same page. Like the musical collages that you have throughout the Phantom of the Opera. Use repetition to build tension and add other layers to insults and injuries, so lots of callbacks. Is it possible to get that kind of musical overlap with just written words?
I think so.
I do too. Is that it? Is that all?
I believe. And what if they want to hear our other prompts?
Oh, if they want to hear our other prompts, then they better buy me a coffee and subscribe. They will receive these other prompts in their email on Substack and be able to view all of our archives and see the other ones in the past.
And does this cost $5 a day?
Oh no, $5 a month.
A month? Wow.
Less than the price of a cup of coffee, and you can be inspired every day.
To quote the Phantom, nobody understands me.
No. You say, to quote the Phantom, no one likes a debtor, so it's better if my orders are obeyed. Pay me.
That's great. Let's call it there.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research.